Alright guys, so today I am sitting down to do CHICOS number 24 we are at. So I'm just going to get started so we can go through this. I tried to do at least 50 things and I'm still behind on my CHICOS, so as soon as I can get them up I will do so. But let's just start where we left off from CHICOS number 23. We have a Bath & Body Works Moonlight Path perfume. I purchased this at a yard sale. I believe I paid $1 for it, possibly $2, no more than $2. And that sold for $79.99. So that was fantastic. You guys know I love selling perfume, and you'd be amazed really at some of the Bath & Body Works items selling for decent money, especially if they are harder to find fragrances, or you know, just a product that is no longer being made. So next we have a pair of Lady HAGEN golf shorts. These sold for $9.99. I believe they probably came from like a fill-a-bag rummage sale. You guys know some clothes when I show in CHICOS sell well, others not so much. So it's just kind of like if I'm getting a piece of clothing for like either free or next to nothing, I'll tend to pick it up if I feel like it's something that I wouldn't mind listing. But I have been a little, I try to be a little more picky with clothing. But again, if I'm getting it for so cheap, and especially with like fill-a-bag rummage sales, if I'm buying stuff and I plan on spending, you know, $10 or whatever to fill my bag, I stuff it, you know? So, not a whole lot of money there, but still, it's out of the house and I have room for some more things. Next, I have a bottle. This was a mini bottle of YSL perfume. This sold for $12.99, and I feel like it's been a while since I mentioned those boxes that I got at the auction a long time ago. You guys know I won that big box that had a lot of perfumes in it. And I still do have some of those perfumes, and that actually was one of them. So they are the rest of what I have leaving, but I already sold most of like all of the like larger bottles and things like that. Next was a lot of 2 Acure moisturizers. These came from Eric's work. I used to work where Eric works for about 5 years, I'd say. But anyway, they used to do, well, they still do employee kind of, not necessarily yard sales, but like product sales. And here lately, this started after I had left, but they kind of started like an employee store type thing where they'll sell some things for like $1 a piece. Like, cause things go out by cases, like a case of 12. So like, these moisturizers might have been in a case of 12, and say the box broke or something, or one got damaged, and you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So they put this stuff out on the shelf. If it's food, it tends to be like things getting closer to expiring and stuff like that. So these came from there, and he paid $1 a piece for these, and they sold for $17.99. So I always tell him, and he knows, like when he's looking at stuff over there, I tend to be interested in like the beauty products and things like that, especially face creams, face moisturizers, serums, that kind of thing. Next was a Fiesta gravy boat. I purchased this at Goodwill. Can't remember what exactly I paid for it. It sold for $19.99. I still have a Fiesta picture that I got at a yard sale that has not sold yet. It did sell at one point, but then the person that bought it wanted to cancel the order for some reason. I don't know if they hit buy it now by accident or whatnot. So that is still listed. I sold a CHICOS top. It seems like CHICOS has different kind of lines within the CHICOS brand. This was by EASYWEAR by CHICOS. I don't know if, you know, one of the lines might sell better than the other. I don't know, but I've also seen Weekend by CHICOS and Synergy by CHICOS. So there could be more, I don't know. But that sold for $14.99. I think I got that at Goodwill on a dollar day. Next was a vintage Budweiser sweatshirt. These had the Budweiser frogs on them, if you guys remember those commercials from back in the 90s. This I got at that barn sale that I went to. So I'd say averaging out, I paid like $1 for it. And that sold for $69.99. So that was an awesome sale. Vintage clothing does great. So anytime I find just obscure kind of vintage clothes, I buy it. Next was a Dimensions cross stitch kit that sold for $39.99. And I believe that sold through the global shipping program that eBay does, the GSP. If you guys don't use that option now, if you are a reseller, I definitely would consider, because that opens up buyers from out of the country, and you don't have to necessarily worry about shipping to another country yourself. I've done that before in the past. I would just print out, you know, the customs forms and stuff myself. But this way, the buyer orders, and then when you ship the item, it actually goes to a place in the US, and that eBay is responsible. Once they get the item, they ship it to who actually purchased it, you know, to the correct address out of the country. So I tend to utilize that feature on things like clothes and stuff that's not breakable. I'm not saying that I don't trust you know, eBay shipping my breakable stuff, but I kind of don't trust eBay shipping my breakable stuff. So I tend to not utilize that feature for breakable items, just because I'm concerned that they're not going to pack it as well as how I packed it. But that's just my thoughts and feelings about it. Anyway, that cross stitch kit sold for $39.99. I think I said that, but I'm not sure. Next was a purse by The Sack that sold for $15.99. I think I got this, I'd say it was at a yard sale or a rummage sale. So I'd say I probably spent $1 to $2 on it. Some Sack purses I feel like sell better than others, but I can't even really sit here and say which ones do. I guess it all just depends on color and style and that type of thing. A vintage, this was a locking bank bag, like a money bag, but it came with a key and you could actually lock it once you had it zipped shut. I got this at a yard sale. I think I paid $2 for it, and it sold for $35.99. I was just intrigued by it. It was interesting, it was different, and apparently they sell pretty good, especially if you still have the key as well, so it can still be used for its, you know, intended purpose. Next was a Department 56 violinist figure. This sold for $25.99. Eric and I got this at a yard sale. I'd say we spent $1 to $2 on it. Department 56, again, some of it sells really, really well. And I didn't think that was bad for that. Next was just this little wooden sailboat figure. I got this free out of a free pile at a Curb Alert. It sold for $12.99. So not too bad for something that I got for free. A vintage elf knee hugger. I think I paid $2 for this one at a yard sale, and that sold for $16.99. Next was a vintage Avon perfume. This sold for $12.99. My mom had actually purchased this for me at a yard sale, obviously a long time ago, and I was just using it as, it was in a really beautiful bottle, and I was just kind of using it as display. Like I film in what I call my beauty room. It's where I tend to put on like my makeup. It's where I record. It's just kind of like my little sanctuary in the house kind of thing. And I just kind of had it displayed in here. I never actually used it though. So some vintage Avon decanters do actually sell, and I think that one sold not just maybe because of the scent, but the fact that the bottle that it was in was also really, really pretty. Next was a lot of these older swizzle sticks. It's like those little, you know, the swizzle sticks that you would stir like your drinks and stuff with. I got these, it was a baggie full of them at a yard sale. I think I paid $1 for the bag. They sold for $9.99. I did keep 2 out of the bag when I purchased them at the yard sale. There was one with a skull on top with 2 rhinestone eyes, and then I also kept one that had a half moon shape as well, and I actually used them in my Halloween decorating. If I can think about it, I'll like post a picture up to show you like what I did with those 2 swizzle sticks that I kept. But it was just like, you know, a little idea of like how I used them. Next was a Longaberger pumpkin tie-on. This is a basket tie-on. Eric had purchased these. I think he had 2 of them, and I think this was the last one that sold for $11.99. So I'm pretty sure we don't have any more of those, and I think he paid like $1 for it. Next was a lot of 2 CoverGirl lip slicks. These sold for $30, and they weren't even sealed in their original packaging. This is with any product, not just beauty products, but when they discontinue stuff and it becomes harder to find and people have like their favorite, I feel like I'm very blah, blah, like I'm making mouth noises. I just drank Starbucks and my mouth is starting to get dry from talking. But these CoverGirl lip slicks, I'm telling you guys, if you ever see these, I think your best bet to finding them anymore is if you're at, like, say a yard sale of someone who maybe was an extreme couponer and they have like old makeup stock from when they were couponing type of thing. I think that's going to be your best bet in finding them. That's where I originally purchased the ones that I had, and I sold the ones that I had that were still on the original packaging, and then these 2 here were actually a part of my own personal collection, and I ended up selling those for $30. So that's fantastic, because at the yard sale I probably paid like maybe $1 a piece for them. I'm also really burpy. I apologize, guys. Sometimes I feel so disgusting when I'm sitting down and recording my videos. Okay, next was a new old stock vintage plastic Santa in his sleigh. This also, I believe, came from that barn sale. So I'd say I paid like $1 for it. And it sold for $19.99. A Minnie Mouse t-shirt sold for $12.99. You guys know I like picking up Disney stuff. A lot of the times with reselling for me, it's not just about things that are really worth a lot of money, but just things that I personally really like. It helps because if you like something, you're going to enjoy it more when you're listing it and selling it and that kind of thing. It just makes it more fun, I guess, if it's something that you really like. Like if I were just like selling VCRs and DVDs and things like that, I probably wouldn't be having so much fun because it's not really stuff that interests me. But obviously if it's something that's worth money and I can get it cheap enough, I'm gonna buy it regardless, but I'm just saying. Okay, this next one is, I think, is the highest thing I sold for this cha-ching. This was a mannequin head. It was made out of, I want to say, fiberglass. Really, really nice quality, absolutely beautiful, very like retro style look to it. It sold for $152.50. I posted this up as an auction for $99.99. So I was like super surprised that it ended at what it did. I didn't pay anything for that mannequin head at all. That thing was free. So to turn something I got for free into $152 is, that's why I love doing what I do. I got that free out of a dumpster. I found that in a dumpster, so that was awesome. Let's see, another thing I sold, Eric picked this up at a church sale. It was marked Italy. It was a hinged trinket box, and it was really pretty. I'm not sure exactly what he paid for it, probably like 50 cents to $1, and it sold for $14.99. A Dooney and Burke black leather purse. I got this at a yard sale for $1, and I sold that for $79.99. I remember when I got that purse, I got it with like, I feel like it was 2 other leather black Dooney and Burke purses, and they were all $1 a piece. I remember being so surprised because they weren't priced, and I remember asking the lady, how much are your purses? And she said $1, and I was like, what? Like, it's crazy how cheap you can get stuff sometimes. Next thing was a vintage Etienne wallet. This actually belonged to my mom. It wasn't in the best condition. It sold for $9.99. I debated even listing it. I honestly was just going to throw it away because I just didn't think it was in the absolute best condition that it could have been in. But I decided to anyway, and it did end up selling. I sold a Cobra radar detector. This like kind of detects when cops have like their radar guns out, so you know, to slow down kind of thing. This was a retail arbitrage item, and I honestly don't really do much retail arbitrage. I find enough while I'm at yard sales and thrift stores that I don't really feel like I need to go into like actual stores and look for stuff to resell. But it is a thing. If you guys aren't familiar with it, that's what it's called. It's when you go into a store, like say Walmart. I purchased this at Walmart in the clearance section for, I believe I paid $17 for it, and it sold for $51. So sometimes you can go into a store, especially in their clearance section, and find something for cheaper and then resell it for more. It's sometimes, you know, an easy thing to do and sometimes a hard thing to do. That one was kind of like a, oh wow, I couldn't believe I had found something that cheap that could make so much more type of thing. Because a lot of times I go into Walmart and their clearance section is horrible. Like the stuff isn't even really clearance prices, if you ask me, kind of thing. So I think that one was just kind of like a once in a lifetime thing, I feel like. But you know, if you are really like hard up looking for things to resell, like it doesn't hurt to check clearance sections, or you know, just like discount stores in general. Like I know a lot of people do a lot of retail arbitrage in stores like TJ Maxx and Ross and stuff like that. And, you know, there's even some things that I've seen people buy from the Dollar Tree and resell. I used to do that a long time ago. But I feel like the market's just way too oversaturated with that kind of stuff now. But I'm sure there's still a decent amount of people who do well with it, like selling stuff from Dollar Tree. Next was a pair of men's American Eagle jeans. I sold these for $22.99, and these were also free. I also found these in a dumpster, so that's awesome. I sold an Affliction hoodie for $25.99 and I paid $3 for that. I paid $3 for that at a yard sale. I had picked up a bunch of Affliction shirts for $2 and $3 at a yard sale. They're not selling for like a ton of money, but still, that's not bad. Another cross stitch kit that sold was one based off Route 66 that sold for $29.99. And the cross stitch kits I typically buy for $1 or less at like yard sales. That one might have came from the estate sale, warehouse sale that I had gone to. So I might have paid $2 for that one. I sold a pair of men's Hanover shoes. These were wingtips for $39.99, and I also got those for free. It's so weird. It seems like the stuff I get for free, I get the most money for. But yeah, I got these at a yard sale. I was looking at them, and the lady's like, oh, you can have them. I was like, what do you mean I can have them? She's like, yeah, just take them. I was like, okay. So there was 2 pairs. I don't know if I sold the other pair yet or not. I'm unsure, but regardless, I didn't pay anything for them. I sold a vintage Energizer Bunny trucker hat for $12.99, and I probably paid like $1 for that or less at a yard sale. I sold a Riesling cat wine bottle. This actually went to a subscriber. That sold for $16.99, and I think I paid $1 for that at a yard sale. I remember that because it was in a box marked free, but they actually did charge me for it. Next was a set of 4 Batman Forever mugs. These came from McDonald's originally. They sold for $20.99, and I got them at a sale, and I think they were either 25 cents a piece or 50 cents a piece. I want to say 25 cents. An American chestnut animal kind of decor piece. I got this at a yard sale for $1. I just thought it was so freaking cute. It sold for $19.99. I didn't really know if that would sell, but again, it was one of those instances of I thought it was so adorable, so I just had to buy it. Next was this binder was made by a company called Climax Industries. It sold for $19.99. I like the fact that it reminded me of like the old school Trapper Keepers, and yeah, it had a really cute doggy print on it as well. Next was a set of Doom shot glasses, like from the video game. These sold for $12.99. I got these at a yard sale for 50 cents. I originally got them for Eric because I know he likes playing the Doom video game. But they were just kind of like sitting around because he doesn't really drink. So I was like, well, you know, do you really want these? Let's just sell them. Because when I bought them, they really weren't worth much. But they started to become a little more desirable. Not by much. I mean, they only sold for $12.99. But I think at the time when I got them, they were selling for like less than that. But this was purchased by a drop shipper. So there are some people, if you guys don't know who drop shippers are or what they do, they will list stuff that is available for sale on, say, Amazon. And then when something sells, instead of like buying it from Amazon, I don't know how they do this. I don't know how they keep up with the inventory and stuff like that. But when something sells, they will buy it from eBay or somewhere else where it's cheaper. And then when you go to ship the item, they'll say like in the instructions not to like put in an invoice, not to, you know, have any kind of like price stickers on the items and stuff like that. Because essentially you're shipping the item to the person that they bought it from, if that makes sense. So I don't know like how they do it, but it makes me feel bad for the people who buy the item because they could have gotten it for so much cheaper. That's why, like I say, like if you want something on Amazon, look elsewhere first, because sometimes Amazon is not the cheapest place to buy it. So just throwing that out there because I knew that that was a drop shipper because of the message that they sent me. Next was a Monet Christmas tree trinket box. Eric picked this up at a yard sale and it sold for $20.49. He probably paid about 50 cents for it. He also purchased the next item to resell. They were a lot of two angel heads by a company called Darcy. They sold for $10.99 and I think he paid $0.25 a piece for those as well. It's interesting what Eric picks up to sell. Next was a lot of two mini peacock chairs. So these were a little smaller than the other like peacock chairs. Normally when I see peacock chairs, they're about this big, but these ones were like mini. They were like yay big. I got these at a yard sale. I want to say maybe I paid $1 a piece for them, and they sold for $29. And people, and I heard from one of you guys actually, that people buy them to put like their succulent plants on and stuff like that. So I know they used to be popular to like display dolls and like teddy bears and things on, but I think people are like repurposing them for other things as well, like plants and stuff like that. So if I ever see them cheap, I like to buy them, but the last couple of times I saw them at like thrift stores and yard sales, they were pricey. I sold an Alice in Wonderland White Rabbit trinket box. This also went to a subscriber, the same subscriber that bought the cat bottle. And this one sold for $19.99, and I got that at a yard sale. I think I paid $1 or $2 for it. I thought it was so cute. It was definitely one of those items I bought and I was like, I don't know if I can sell this, but I did. I sold a Goble Swan soap dish for $14.99, and I got that at a yard sale, I believe, for $1. This next item was a lot of Scholastic books and cassette tapes. So the cassette tape would play the book, so you know you could read along to the book. These sold for $19.99. These belong to my aunt, and if you guys have seen some of my other CHICOS videos, I was mentioning that I'm starting to sell some things that my aunt gave me, and then we split the cost. I sold a couple things for her already. I think in my last CHICOS or the CHICOS before, I had sold a Casey the Robot for her that sold for a decent price. It's been a little while since I was over to get anything of hers to sell, but I think I still have a couple things that belong to her that haven't sold yet. Eric bought these. These were Longaberger glass candy cane ornaments that sold for $23.99, and I think he paid $1 or $2 for them at a yard sale. A pair of Jag jeans. They're by a brand called Jag. These were free. I got them at a Curb Alert, and they sold for $13.99. A Victoria's Secret Love Pink kind of sequined blinged out hoodie. That sold for $25.99, and I got it at a yard sale for $1. This was my last Empire Tiny Tim blow mold. This came from the barn sale, so I just like averaged everything out to $1 because I barely paid anything for the stuff that I got there. And that sold for $49.99, so that was my last one of those. A lot of Mercury Glass bird ornaments. These were like little clip-on ornaments I got at a yard sale. They sold for $19.99. And I think I paid $1 for all of them together. A Munchies plastic canvas kit sold for $19.99, and that went to a subscriber. Got that at a yard sale. I can't remember what I paid, but I'm sure it was no more than $1. A set of Hazel Atlas candy stripe mugs. You guys might have seen these in a haul video. I got these at an estate sale, and they were $3 a piece and there was 3 that sold. So I paid $9 for them, and they sold for $81. So that was awesome. I remember I went to this estate sale, and they had pictures up of the stuff that was, you know, just like set up, like the tables set up and everything like that. So I was like scouring the pictures, and I saw these really cool looking mugs in the picture, and I'm like, what are those? Like, who are those made by? So I researched them before I ever went to the estate sale, and I nabbed them as soon as I got in the door because I knew what they were worth and that kind of thing. The Hazel Atlas candy stripe mugs. Some of the colors are more desirable than others. I did, and I don't think it's in this CHICOS, but it will be in another CHICOS. I sold 2 of the red ones, and they didn't sell for as much because I think the red color isn't as desirable as like these really pretty teal blue ones. And then the last thing that I sold was a set of those blue votive candle holders. I got these at a yard sale for $3, and they sold for $48. So that is everything for this CHICOS. I feel like I was really rambly. My throat is so dry after I do these CHICOS videos. Like, my throat starts to feel sore because of all of this talking that I'm doing. Until the next CHICOS, we will be on CHICOS number 25. So that's really exciting, and like I said, I'm still really far behind with them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. You'll have to let me know what you thought down below, and I will see you next time.